My name's Justin, and welcome to AI for the Masses, Practical Use of AI for Everyday People. In my last video, we talked about how to use an ASVAB study guide to create basic practice questions for the ASVAB. In that, I showed how you basically set up and teach the AI what it is you want. In this video, I'd like to continue that conversation and talk about how we can enhance and scale up the test-taking practice by adding more questions. Now that the AI knows what it is that we want, we can just ask for more. And then we can also extract this information and convert it into a form that we could print it out as a PDF. So if you prefer to take these exams on paper and write notes and work out the problems by hand, then you can print these out, and I'm going to show you how. So what I have on the screen is the recap of what it is that we did in the previous video, where we established the study guide format. So I picked the section on square roots, and then it set up the different categories. We then tried creating practice problems. However, it didn't really give us the style that an ASVAB exam usually has. And so then I asked it to create multiple choice answers in order to have the style of 1 correct answer and 3 incorrect answers, like on a normal ASVAB. And then I showed you how you could actually answer the questions. I intentionally answered some incorrect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to ask the ChatGPT to make a new exam, but I'm going to increase the number of questions to 20. Okay, let's make a new practice exam that is still on the current subject of square roots, but I want there to be 20 multiple choice answers, with the correct answer being randomly placed in A, B, C, or D, and I would like there to be a total of 20 questions that increase in difficulty as we go through the questions until we reach the 20. Okay, a little bit wordy, but I have found that giving the AI more information rather than not enough and leaving things open to interpretation tends to get me better results more often than it being annoying for the AI. So let's go ahead and process that. Now I'm using the 4.0 model, and that might be a mistake. So let's go ahead and do an experiment and see how well the problems seem to increase in difficulty using the 4.0 model. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the one round of the 0.3 mini high, because remember, you only get 50 a week. So I want to kind of promote that awareness that you have limitations. Now, another thing we can also see is the speed at which 4.0 is compared to 0.3. So we are on problem 14 now, and I seem to like the difficulty increasing. So it seems to be compartmentalizing the questions into groups of 5 and possibly increasing. Yeah, it looks like it's increasing the difficulty as we go along. Now, some of these problems might be past what the ASVAB actually wants you to know and be assessed for when taking the actual exam. In my opinion, that's not a bad thing. If you go a little bit past what is needed for the exam, then that just means that you are a little bit more skilled and you probably have a better chance of getting a better score. Now, we don't want to go too far past what is the most that they require of us. So if you see the questions getting to these level of difficulties, like I feel like this one is probably beyond what an ASVAB exam would probably ask you, you can ask to dial it down, or you could go into your study guide book and look at the problems that are in those sections and see if you can kind of figure out what the hardest questions are that they ask. And maybe you could give those as example problems to the AI, saying this is the highest level of difficulty that I would like. I'm not going to go through that trouble right now, but I am going to, okay, so now they gave us the answer key, and assuming the answer key is correct, remember, I don't 100% trust 4.0 for this. So I scrolled through the whole exam. You can use my example as a test to see how well the questions work. You can pause the video while I'm scrolling, and you can look for yourself to see how well these questions actually turned out and whether the answer key is actually correct. Now, just as a comparison, I'm going to do 03 mini high. I'm asking it to do the same thing, but I'm going to ask it to change the questions. Please make another practice exam with the same requirements. Give me new questions, though, as I would like to have another unique exam with 20 questions. All right, so it's going to have to do some thinking, which is one of the reasons why I have so much more confidence that the mathematics for 03 is going to be better than 4.0, because it's going to take the time to actually check and do some of the math and verify that there's one correct answer, and you can kind of see what's going on here with the thought process. So you get a little bit of an understanding of what the AI is trying to do. And then once it's done with this background thinking, it's going to create the exam. Oh, okay. Now, see, I don't mind this. We seem to have a really strange output here. So it's good to see that this kind of thing can happen, but it's not a big deal. Really, the answer of the AI is happening right about there. Okay, so don't worry about that if you see this kind of thing happen with all this mess up here. ChatGPT is constantly a work in progress. This is the worst it's ever going to be, and I'm still very much impressed with it. Okay, so here is its attempt at another exam. So here are the first 5, okay, getting a little bit more complicated with the next 5. I feel like this was about the same level of difficulty as before. To me, this looks a little cleaner than the last one. And now it's giving us the answers with the explanations. Looking pretty good, but it's also a little more thorough. So I feel like it's got a better setup. It's a little easier to read. That's an opinion. It's not necessarily fact. And so I just seem to be biased towards also, I think 03 Mini is a little bit better with formatting, and it doesn't worry so much about trying to make things short. All right. It did what it needed to do to meet my requirements, and I'm pretty happy with it. Now, what am I going to do with this? Well, we could do what I did in the previous video and actually work on the exam in the chat. But what I want to do is I want to extract this. I'm going to scroll to the bottom, and I'm going to turn this into a document that I can print out as a PDF. So I'm going to copy this chat, and I'm going to create a new chat. And there's a big reason why I'm going to create a new chat, because if I swap over to the 4.0 model and use the Canvas feature that I intend on using, I'm going to lock myself out of the 03 Mini High, because these different models are only allowed to do certain things. And currently right now 03 Mini High can search the internet, but it cannot take in any attachments, and it can't use Canvas. So as soon as you do those things in the chat, like trying to use one of the other models, you're going to lock yourself out. These things are going to get grayed out. I'm not going to demonstrate. Want to risk ruining the training that I've done for making the exams. So there's a little bit of an art to using these AI models as it is right now. So I'm going to, instead of changing models, and then I'm going to paste this practice exam into the new chat, and you'll see what I'm going to ask it to do. So I'm going to swap, this is the new chat, and then I'm going to swap to the 4.0 model. Please convert the following text into latex code for me to copy and paste in a blank canvas, or in a new canvas. All right, let me explain what I did here. So I said the word latex. Those who are in the know will know that this is actually pronounced LaTeX. And this is code used primarily by like academics, like grad students, especially in the sciences, that it's a word processing code. And you can use it. It's really useful for doing formulas and equations and things because you have a lot of control over how the text and the formatting turns out. Now, of course, I'm not asking everybody here to learn how to code. Last year in 2024, I kind of put together the dots that, hey, wait a second, I was aware of LaTeX, and I only used it a couple times for some things that I did in grad school, but it had quite the learning curve, and it was very time consuming, and I didn't feel like it was worth, the juice was worth the squeeze. And so I kind of put it off to the side and I went back to just using a normal word processor like Google Sheets or something like that, or Google Docs. And then I realized that ChatGPT is good at writing code. So LaTeX is code. Maybe it can convert text into LaTeX. And so here we go. So you're going to hear me say latex because I'm using transcription and I just want to get the word LaTeX spelled correctly, and that is the more common pronunciation. So I'm going to say latex. It'll be funny. Go ahead and roast me in the comments. It's fine. But I'm talking about LaTeX. Right now, I'm going to press Shift Enter just to help with ChatGPT and the formatting, and I'm going to paste in the practice exam that we made with the 20 questions. And you can see that there's like some formatting going on, and these hashtags and these asterisks are to help with sectioning and also boldface, and these are different commands that ChatGPT uses with the type of interface that it has behind the scenes to create the formatting that you see on the screen. Generally, I find this to not be a problem. So let's go ahead and see how well this works on this. So I'm going to send this in. And remember, the original prompt I did was that we want to turn this into LaTeX code for the copy and paste. And I said a blank canvas, but obviously I mean a new canvas. And it says campus, but just work with me. It usually gets the idea. So let's go ahead and press enter. Okay, so it has opened up a small window, and now that automatically happened, and it created a canvas. And you've seen what the text looks like, and hopefully this code is somewhat exposing some and a little bit familiar in what we see. We see these commands for like square root and the different answers, 1.7, 1.8. We can't see the question numbers, but they are there. And the code is going to handle. So here's like questions 11 through 15. So we know that this is question 11. This is question 12. Okay. So as the code is being written, we can kind of make sure that things are turning out the way that we want them to. I don't see anything going on with the hashtags and the asterisks being brought in. Oh, well, maybe here. So maybe there's some asterisks here. We're going to find out if that is a formatting thing that has been brought over, or if that is something that the LaTeX code actually wants to work. Now, I'm already kind of seeing that perhaps the answers didn't quite all make it. That's what it's looking like to me. So this is something that can happen, and probably should check that it turned out okay over here. However, if we look, yeah, I have a feeling that it didn't get quite the whole thing. Awesome. So you're going to see what I need to do to fix this kind of issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this code, and I am going to go to a LaTeX compiler. I have copied the LaTeX code. I'm going to come to a compiler called TextWorks, and there's many LaTeX compilers out there. There, in my opinion, isn't a best one. Feel free to in the comments talk about which ones you prefer if you've ever used LaTeX before, and let the audience know why. What are the advantages and disadvantages that you see with these particular LaTeX compilers? This is the one I just happen to get used to, and so I use MikTeX, and here I'll type out here. You can see there's MikTeX, MIKTEX. I know it's pretty small. You might have to like zoom in. I apologize if that's too tiny. And then TextWorks is what you can see in the window here, right there, TextWorks. So let me go ahead and delete what I typed. I'm going to paste in the LaTeX code. This is how I'm going to find out how close we got to the LaTeX code working. So here is the LaTeX code that I say LaTeX so much now that now we can check to see how well this turned out. So I'm gonna click the compile button. All right, now it's compiling. All right, it worked. Not always guaranteed. So I have a PDF immediately generated, and here are the questions. Now you can see that there are some situations here where the questions are spread across 2 pages. I can show you a quick little command that'll help that out for formatting. And as we can see, we only got to, actually there was even a question 11, 12, and a skip to 16 and 17. Okay, now the way that I see that is because O3 is more thorough and makes very long prompts, like the outputs can be very long, 4.0 is usually a little bit more succinct, and also sometimes it can't handle long inputs like this. So what I'll have to do is I should probably only copy the questions and have the LaTeX code make just the questions, and then copy the answers and do that separately. If it can at least handle all the questions, then we're in a good place. Now, another way that I could attack this problem is if I go back to ChatGPT, where I have the actual questions here, and if I redo the prompt, you can come to the top of your prompt and you can click this edit message or previous message. Okay, so we have some lead-in text here that I could take out. Well, not my command. And let's do this. So I'm going to, that was text in the chat, and then I'm going to find the answers, and I'm going to go from the answers and highlight all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to delete. And we're going to see if we can create a new canvas that can at least fit the questions and create LaTeX code that way. So let's try again. I'm going to send. That looks a little bit shorter and more manageable. Now hopefully it is creating a new canvas. So yep, here we go. Interesting. Now it's looking like the multiple choice questions are going horizontal. We'll see if that's actually true. Okay, it looks to me like it finished, and let's go ahead in the same LaTeX terminal. I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the whole document, and let's see how well it handled this. All right, this is not bad. The only thing that I don't like is that, you know, the horizontal answers are fine, but I feel like I want to have room to write notes and try out the problems. So this is a trade-off for sure. At least we do have all 20 questions grouped into groups of 5. But me personally, I think the main reason for printing out is to have the space to be able to write some notes and work some of the math out. So if that is something that you'd want, let me show you 2 ways that I would fix this. First, I could ask it to, and I'll just do this, could you add 2 centimeter spaces between every question in the code? Okay, so it altered the code, and now I'm going to go back to the LaTeX compiler, paste in, and see how the formatting worked now. Okay. Again, not exactly what I was looking for. I see how there was they put a 2 centimeter space not only between the questions, but also between the questions and the answer. So not exactly what I was looking for. Let me show you another method. We can take the text that we had put in the chat. I'm going to copy this out. And I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to make me an actual blank canvas. Please make me a new blank canvas. I'm going to input my own text. Okay, so here's a blank canvas, and I'm going to take the questions and I'm just going to paste them in like this. Wow, we're really having some issues today. Let me try that again. Okay, there we go. So we got all 20 questions in here. Now, down here is something that maybe some of you have never noticed before. You really have to pay attention. There's that little bubble. So let me so the little marker or pencil. And if we come up here almost to the top one, it says Add Final Polish. If I click that, I'll get an arrow. It's waiting for me to click again. If I click this, then it's going to take this canvas and it's going to basically kind of interpret the intention, and it's going to clean up the text. Now, this is going to allow me to more quickly verify the format of my exam. And so now we're going to end up with our our categories and all of our questions, and the multiple choice answers are going to be positioned in a way that I find more appropriate. And once we get through this, we will have a formatted exam. Okay, we have our 20 questions and they're formatted. So this is a little bit of a roundabout way of doing this, but now I'm going to copy this text. Or I can try this. Take the text in this canvas, open up a new canvas, and convert the text into latex code for me to copy and paste. Okay, we're going to see if we can get ChatGPT to agree to just convert this directly into latex code, or LaTeX code. And here we go. Okay. Alright, so I have my LaTeX code that was translated directly from the other canvas from before. Now let's see how well this one is formatted. I have a feeling it's kind of the same way where the answers are horizontal. They are. Okay, I'm still okay with this. I'm glad that I'm getting to show you some of the weird quirks that could come up, because I want to create a philosophy of how to approach AI instead of just giving you some edited flawless effort, and then when you try it, it ends up giving you problems. So how am I going to fix this? Here's my attempt. Could you make the multiple choice answers in vertical form? Maybe I should have said format, but I think it'll get the idea. Okay, I'm feeling good about this one. Hey, wait a second. Okay, whew. I thought I was going to end document at question 19 and did 20. Okay, we're going to copy, and then we're going to paste, and let's compile. And there we go. Okay, now that gives me a little bit of space to write some notes and work out the problems. Now, here is the last thing that I want to talk about is look at how this section, this question number 6 gets cut off right at the page, between pages. So I can go here and I find that part of the document. I'm going to give it a little space so that it's not so cluttered, and I'm going to do backslash, which this is next to the enter key above the shift key. This is not the key, the slash that has the question mark. So I'm going to do backslash new page. Okay, can I make this bigger for you to see? All right. Okay, so I have new page typed, and if I press compile now, we'll see that we have started the new section on the next page. So it's kind of like the page break on a Word document. Okay, I am okay with the fact that at least all of question 13 is on one page, so I'm not going to new page the next section. I just didn't want the question to be separated between the pages. So I'm happy with this. I have 3 pages, 20 questions, and there's some other little funny things in here. Like, I don't really care about the date. If you don't want that in there, you can ask AI any question that you need in order to find out how to add things and remove things. The thing that I want to do then is basically I can print this out and I can use it as a worksheet, and I can study and I can refer back to it, and I can mark up my answers, and I can keep track of how well I'm doing. So that was my lesson on the philosophy. So not step-by-step approach, the philosophy of how you can create exams, turn them into quizzes for yourself that you can do in the chat, or turn them into documents that you can print out as PDFs for yourself. If you have any other things that you'd like me to show you that are related to the ASVAB or another type of exam, let me know in the comments. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one.